Smile fam. No, too much smiling, you look desperate. You see, the voices mean well most days, but today they've agreed to let Jack Handy do the talking for me. His story, The Voices in My Head from Flash Fiction Forward, well, it's not just about madness, it's about company. The kind of company that you can't turn off, even when you wish you could. So if you hear me talking to somebody who isn't here, it's okay. They're just loud today. I never know when the voices are in my head are going to start talking to me. I might be coming out of my apartment and I'll look up at the clouds, and suddenly the voices in my head will tell me to go back inside and get an umbrella because it might rain. Sometimes I'll obey the voices and I'll go get my umbrella. Sometimes I'll muster up my courage and refuse to get the umbrella. Still, the voices don't let you forget that you disobeyed them, especially if it ends up raining. They'll say, I knew you should have gotten the umbrella. Why didn't you? I wouldn't expect you to understand what it's like to have voices in your head telling you what to do, but it's a nightmare I live with all of the time. Right now in this moment, for instance, the voices are telling me to go back and change the word nightmare to living hell. The voices torment me from the time I wake up. They'll say, get up and go to the bathroom to urinate. Throughout the day, they'll never let up. Go get something to eat. Go take a nap. Go to the bathroom again. Get ready for bed. On and on. Sometimes the voices even talk to me in my sleep, telling me to get up and urinate. My fear is that the voices will tell me to do something crazy, like look for a job. I used to think that drinking alcohol would calm the voices, but it usually makes them worse. It'll say things like, go tell that person what you really think of them, or get up on that table and do your funny cowboy dance. The voices used to talk to me about the Beatles. When I was young, they would tell me to go buy a certain Beatles album. I don't have any money, I'd say. The voices would suggest that I mow some lawns and earn some money. That's a lot of work, I'd say. Well, the voices would say, do you want the album or not? That might have been my dad who said that one. Sometimes I go for relatively long periods without hearing the voices, like when I'm watching TV or watching ants or lying on the floor and blowing lint balls into giant herds of lint, or seeing which of my cats is afraid of the pillowcase head. But these golden moments are fleeting and soon the voices return. I just wish that the voices would tell me something useful for once, like how to speak in French or where my gloves went. But they hardly ever do. In fact, many times the voices like to taunt me, telling me, for instance, to turn left at an intersection when it turns out later that I should have gone right. Or telling me to wear a tie that looks ridiculous. Even worse, sometimes the voices themselves don't even know what they want. They'll tell me to go up and talk to a pretty woman. They'll say, go on, go ahead. And then they'll say, wait, what if she's too pretty for you? And then they'll say, wait, what if your wife finds out? Make up your mind. When you tell people that you have voices in your head, they think you're crazy. But when you don't say anything at all and you sit there and stare at them, they think you're crazy. Still, so you can't win. I thought of going to a psychiatrist to get rid of the voices, but the voices told me that would be so expensive and it would take a long time, and I'd have to put on pants and go to the subway, and then I would have to come all the way back on the subway, and then I'd have to take my pants off, and who knows if it would even work in the first place. You can't win. One day, I decided that I couldn't take it anymore, and I decided that I'm going to silence those voices once and for all. I couldn't actually figure out how to do that, so I gave up. Maybe the answer is not to try and get rid of the voices, but to learn to live with them. I don't actually mean that. I'm saying it for the voices' sake. Will I ever be able to fully control those voices that echo in my head? Probably not. But will I be able to at least adjust my lifestyle so that the voices are no longer a threat to me or others? That answer is also no. But I'm not ready to throw in the towel just yet, because one thing that I've learned is that The voices may be super bossy, but they're also super stupid.